this band does is get a million things. I mean, we all produce records by other artists. Our bass player is a head instructor at a music conservatory in Portland. Our singer scores films in addition to producing records. Our drummer is in a number of bands. I produce other bands. I act. You know, so there's a lot of different things going on in this band.
Do you feel that there's an attraction, something that'll bring us together as a generation, whether it's a common cause or a karma that brings people, like-minded people together?
It's hard to say because this generation, this zeitgeist right now is just so, the attention span of goldfish. I mean, you know, for the last 30 years we've been raised on MTV, and then, which dumbed the collective consciousness down tremendously, and then you add the internet on top of that, and I mean, it's made society so fractious. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
When I was a kid, there were 3 major networks, and when you grew up, there was a couple of major radio stations for most types of commercial music. That was limiting somewhat creatively, but it also unified people. People had a common frame of reference. Do you know what I'm saying? So the biggest unifying moment, 2 moments that I can think of for these times are kind of sad and ultimately meant nothing. One is the election of Barack Obama. I mean, I cannot remember in my entire lifetime when the nation was more joyous and riveted and just on the same fucking page, and that lasted about 10 minutes.
I know what you mean.
And then the death of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Brought people together. But what
tragedy.
Yeah. I mean, well, Barack Obama was victory. You know what I mean? But it was fleeting and it was empty. And then Michael Jackson was tragedy, but what he represented might have been empty. I mean, we don't know if he was he was a talented guy, and he brought a lot of happiness and a lot of joy and a lot of music and dancing into the world, but he might also have been a child molester, and whether he actually was or not doesn't matter. The fact that he is viewed as a child molester. Do you know what I mean? And well, those 2 events are the most unifying social events that I can remember in the most since 9/11.
I understand. But let me ask you this. Do you feel that Michael Jackson was framed?
No, I don't think so. I know a lot of people that were sort of on the inside of that, and they said that if he wasn't actually doing it, there was still some shady shit going on. You know, people that worked the security detail of his house, people that were, part of his legal team, et cetera, et cetera.
I can say, a positive thing about Michael Jackson is that he was a very talented entertainer, and he had a lot of fans. And it seemed that when he passed, it seems like they all got together and mourned his death and realized what a great talent he is. It's just a tragedy in our history, and it's something to be remembered. We're together in looking at the generation that we faced subversive forces, and which inhibited our liberty and our freedom. So what I'm saying to you is, as a band member, and do you feel that we have a cause in our hearts and in our souls to attract each other, bring forth liberty onto the generation?
At this point, it would have to be something so fucking massive and catastrophic. I mean, we're so jaded. 9/11 could have unified this country. But it was that feeling of unification and patriotism and now what was just perverted for political gain. And people know that, you know what I mean? Like, for a split second, this entire country was all on the same team.
Yeah.
And that feeling of goodwill and like I said, and brotherhood just got subverted and perverted so quickly. You know, and then Barack Obama got elected, like I said, and that feeling just turned out to be transient and empty. It would have to be something, I mean, and those were two huge events.
Right.
It would have to be something even bigger than those. So think of it that way. You know, it certainly isn't, this isn't the age of Aquarius. It certainly is not going to be organic, and it's certainly not going to be self-starting. It's going to be a reaction to...
I feel that we're in the age of awakening. I mean, most people that I speak to have a consciousness about them, an awakening, an enlightenment. Do you feel that way in any way?
Not beyond a very, very surface perspective. Most of my friends operate at what they and I believe to be a higher level of consciousness.
Right.
I mean, we're all liberal, so, you know, we're open-minded about people's, you know, race and ethnicity and sexual orientation and, you know, career paths and, you know, artistic expression and all that shit. But really, at the end of the day, what we all want is a belly full of food and somebody in our bed and to not be alone, you know, and to be fucking entertained for a couple hours a day. Right. I mean, really, that's ultimately, you know, what everybody wants. And those are selfish means.
Oh, I see.
Don't you agree? I mean,
I feel that necessity for the basics, which you mentioned, is common amongst our generation, amongst human beings.
Right, but if there was truly a collective rebirth or whatever the fuck, we wouldn't have to be... The environment, for example, and the fucking climate change would not be a political football. Everybody would say, hey, I feel this way about taxes, you feel that way about taxes. The environment, on the other hand, is fucking science, and it affects us all. But they're not. Everything is politicized. Everything is monetized, and everything is perverted for influence from one, you know, point of view to another.
What do you think of the music genre in the 21st century? And did you have any opinions on Green Day or Armstrong? Armstrong is the lead singer for Green Day. He's a...
Oh, Billy Joe.
Yeah.
I think he is a really talented pop songwriter. I like Green Day. I don't know how punk they are.
Yeah.
I really liked American Idiot. I don't think he was saying anything new, but he was saying it to a new audience. He was saying it to people that normally don't hear that sort of sentiment.
Oh, I see.
I mean, when a band as big as Green Day, we're playing to an arena full of Walmart shoppers, and he can get them to stand up and sing along with him. Maybe I'm the faggot American. I think that's noteworthy, and I think that's significant.
And what do you think about your own band? Do you feel that the genre is a magnet in the current era, which I describe as a modern day renaissance and a collective consciousness? Do you feel that? Can you describe the genre of Goldfinger?
Well, similar to Green Day. I mean, it's pop punk. I mean, but we play a lot of ska and we sort of play a lot of Caribbean rhythms that bands like Green Day and The Offspring and the bigger pop punk bands don't play.
Do you agree that in our modern day generation, which RM Talk is all about, that basically as artists we all have a common cause, which is strong in our hearts and souls?
What would that common cause be?
Well, just a cause against adversity.
I mean, maybe the common cause is just expression, self-expression.
Absolutely, we need self-expression, and we can't allow the government to inhibit that in any way. And you know what I always say, God bless our First Amendment, but if we don't watch out for ourselves as a generation, and as a genre, who will? So I really think it's up to the people, and it's up to our artists to look out for each other. And just before we wrapped up, what do you think about the future? Where do you think it's heading? How about your own career? Do you feel positive? And do you feel there's hope? What is the hope?
Yeah, I feel positive about my own life, my own set of circumstances, my own prospects, but I work my ass off on what I do in my life. And so it would just make sense that, work yields results, period. You get out and you do something and something will come of it. I don't believe in karma in that I see amazing things happening for terrible fucking people. And I see fairly decent people just sort of treading water and not really getting ahead in life. Because the shitty people are out there busting their asses. You know what I mean? If I am a terrible human, but I open a business and work my ass off at selling something, I'm going to sell something, and I'm going to profit as a result. If I'm a decent guy, but I stay at home and I help other people at my own expense and whatever, I'm not really going to get very far ahead. So, just to tie that back into the thing, you referenced karma a couple of times.
Right.
But I think for my own life, yeah, I've worked really hard on things, and things, come as a result. For the future of mankind, I don't know. We're at 7 billion fucking people right now. The Earth's resources are limited. They're almost done. We don't give a shit about the environment. The environment is going to kick our asses. And it looks like we are most certainly headed towards a massive financial worldwide collapse. Next 10 years should be really interesting.
I think the next 10 years is going to be a unifying force in a collective consciousness, which would bring our generation in unity, in order for us to finally gain identity, which I think is going to happen in a rebirth. Anyway, I'd like to thank you and your band members in Goldfinger for appearing on RM Talk. And I wish you all the best of luck on your Belgium trip.
Oh, thank you.
On your Belgium trip in April. And thank you for appearing on RM. Have a great career.
All right, man.
Okay, thank you.